Of all the people and nations in the world, Yah Elohim chose Israel as a personal treasure, as it is written in the book of Psalms.
For Yah has chosen Jacob for himself, Israel for his own special treasure.
So much did Yah love the people of Israel that he led them out of Egypt with all manner of signs and wonders and made a special covenant with them. If the people of Israel had kept that covenant, they would have remained a peculiar treasure to Yah throughout all time and would never have suffered the curses that came with it. The particulars of that covenant are covered in Exodus chapters 20 to 23, and they include the Ten Commandments as well as other instructions and regulations from Yah. This series will cover the results of Israel's disobedience and the fate of the present-day people of Israel, the Black Hebrew Israelites, who are still scattered throughout the world. This message is solely for them.
Then Yah instructed Moses, "Come up here to me and bring along Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of Israel's elders. All of you must worship from a distance. Only Moses is allowed to come near to Yah. The others must not come near, and none of the other people are allowed to climb up the mountain with him."
Then Moses went down to the people and repeated all the instructions and regulations Yah had given him. All the people answered with one voice, "We will do everything Yah has commanded." Then Moses carefully wrote down all Yah's instructions. Early the next morning, Moses got up and built an altar at the foot of the mountain. He also set up 12 pillars, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent some of the young Israelite men to present burnt offerings and to sacrifice bulls as peace offerings to Yah. Moses drained half the blood from these animals into basins. The other half he splattered against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it aloud to the people. Again they all responded, "We will do everything Yah has commanded. We will obey." After the people of Israel agreed to the covenant and its conditions, Moses reaffirmed the blessings and curses that would come with either their obedience or disobedience to Yah. The full list of these blessings and curses are covered in Deuteronomy chapter 28. It is in this book and chapter that we can clearly see who the people of Israel were, based on the curses their descendants would suffer at the hands of their enemies. "But if you refuse to listen to Yah your Elohim, and do not obey all the commands and decrees I am giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. Your towns and your fields will be cursed. Your fruit baskets and breadboards will be cursed. Your children and your crops will be cursed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be cursed. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be cursed. Yah himself will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in everything you do, until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me. Yah will afflict you with diseases until none of you are left in the land you are about to enter and occupy. Yah will strike you with wasting diseases, fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, and with blight and mildew. These disasters will pursue you until you die. The skies above will be as unyielding as bronze, and the earth beneath will be as hard as iron. Yah will change the rain that falls on your head into powder, and dust will pour down from the sky until you are destroyed. Yah will cause you to be defeated by your enemies. You will attack your enemies from one direction, but you will scatter from them in 7. You will be an object of horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your corpses will be food for all the scavenging birds and wild animals, and no one will be there to chase them away. Yah will afflict you with the boils of Egypt, and with tumors, scurvy, and the itch from which you cannot be cured. Yah will strike you with madness, blindness, and panic. You will grope around in broad daylight like a blind person groping in the darkness, but you will not find your way. You will be oppressed and robbed continually, and no one will come to save you. You will be engaged to a woman, but another man will sleep with her. You will build a house, but someone else will live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will never enjoy its fruit. Your ox will be butchered before your eyes, but you will not eat a single bite of the meat. Your donkey will be taken from you, never to be returned. Your sheep and goats will be given to your enemies, and no one will be there to help you. You will watch as your sons and daughters are taken away as slaves. Your heart will break for them, but you won't be able to help them. A foreign nation you have never heard about will eat the crops you work so hard to grow. You will suffer under constant oppression and harsh treatment. You will go mad because of all the tragedy you see around you. Yah will cover your knees and legs with incurable boils. In fact, you will be covered from head to foot. Yah will exile you and your king to a nation unknown to you and your ancestors. There in exile you will worship deities of wood and stone. You will become an object of horror, ridicule, and mockery among all the nations to which Yah sends you. You will plant much, but harvest little, for locusts will eat your crops. You will plant vineyards and care for them, but you will not drink the wine or eat the grapes, for worms will destroy the vines. You will grow olive trees throughout your land, but you will never use the olive oil, for the fruit will drop before it ripens. You will have sons and daughters, but you will lose them, for they will be led away into captivity. Swarms of insects will destroy your trees and crops. The foreigners living among you will become stronger and stronger, while you become weaker and weaker. They will lend money to you, but you will not lend to them. They will be the head, and you will be the tail. If you refuse to listen to Yah your Elohim and to obey the commands and decrees he has given you, all these curses will pursue and overtake you until you are destroyed. The horrors will serve as a sign and warning among you and your descendants forever. If you do not serve Yah your Elohim with joy and enthusiasm for the abundant benefits you have received, you will serve your enemies whom Yah will send against you. You will be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. Yah will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed you. Yah will bring a distant nation against you from the end of the earth, and it will swoop down on you like a vulture. It is a nation whose language you do not understand, a fierce and heartless nation that shows no respect for the old and no pity for the young. Its armies will devour your livestock and crops, and you will be destroyed. They will leave you no grain, new wine, olive oil, calves, or lambs, and you will starve to death. They will attack your cities until the fortified walls in your land, the walls you trusted to protect you, are knocked down. They will attack all the towns in the land Yah your Elohim has given you. The siege and terrible distress of the enemy's attack will be so severe that you will eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters whom Yah your Elohim has given you. The most tender-hearted man among you will have no compassion for his own brother, his beloved wife, and his surviving children. He will refuse to share with them the flesh he is devouring, the flesh of one of his own children, because he has nothing else to eat during the siege and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns. The most tender and delicate woman among you, so delicate she would not so much as touch the ground with her foot, will be selfish toward her husband she loves and toward her own son or daughter. She will hide from them the afterbirth and the new baby she has born, so that she herself can secretly eat them. She will have nothing else to eat during the siege and terrible distress that your enemy will inflict on all your towns. If you refuse to obey all the words of instruction that are written in this book, and if you do not fear the glorious and awesome name of Yah your Elohim, then Yah will overwhelm you and your children with indescribable plagues. These plagues will be intense and without relief, making you miserable and unbearably sick. He will afflict you with all the diseases of Egypt that you feared so much, and you will have no relief. Yah will afflict you with every sickness and plague there is, even those not mentioned in this book of instruction, until you are destroyed. Though you become as numerous as the stars in the sky, few of you will be left because you would not listen to Yah your Elohim. Just as Yah has found great pleasure in causing you to prosper and multiply, Yah will find pleasure in destroying you. You will be torn from the land you are about to enter and occupy, for Yah will scatter you among all the nations from one end of the earth to the other. There you will worship foreign deities that neither you nor your ancestors have known, deities made of wood and stone. There among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and Yah will cause your heart to tremble, your eyesight to fail, and your soul to despair. Your life will constantly hang in the balance. You will live night and day in fear, unsure if you will survive. In the morning you will say, "If only it were night," and in the evening you will say, "If only it were morning," for you will be terrified by the awful horrors you see around you. Then Yah will send you back to Egypt in ships, to a destination I promised you would never see again. There you will offer to sell yourselves to your enemies as slaves, but no one will buy or redeem you.